We are now just 137 days away from the official release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film, at the end of the day, is going to be, well, a revelation film. It's going to have a lot of twists and turns, as well as a lot of saga-wide implications in this story, and even introducing over 8 new characters in Episode 9. And what's great about that is that it opens up the possibilities of where Rey and Kylo Ren will be going in this film. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this movie, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that a description of one of the scenes based in the third act of the film, where both Rey and Ren are actually in a confrontation with the Dark Acolyte, who goes by the name of Vance. It's said that Vance begins to reveal certain revelations about a key character in the Skywalker saga, where one of the sequences is said to include a moment in which Vance reveals to Rey and Kylo Ren that it was he who lured Palpatine's spirit into the mortal world, and that some of Palpatine's Sith spirit power comes from a power of Vader's Sith Wraith, being a part of Palpatine's power combined, that was the right amount of dark power that can be used to possess the Dark Acolyte. Since he was very strong with the Force, even stronger than Kylo before the Acolyte was even possessed, Vance also reveals to Ren and Rey that technically Vader is a part of him, since Palpatine's Sith spirit holds some of his power. The scene is described to be similar to when Anakin and Obi-Wan were in a confrontation on the launch pad, where now it's Rey and Kylo circling around the Dark Acolyte. So, let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that the Dark Acolyte, also known as Vance, is one of the 8 new characters or more that will be introduced in the story in the third act of Episode 9. Now, Vance is said to be portrayed by Matt Smith. I know that Disney and Lucasfilm, they pulled his name off of all the StarWars.com international websites. That most likely was a thing to cover up that Matt Smith is even involved since it got out. But on top of all of this, what's really intriguing about the new villain, also known as the Dark Acolyte / Vance, is that he unveils that a part of Darth Vader's Sith Wraith power is combined with Palpatine's spirit that is, of course, the thing that's possessing the Dark Acolyte. And so he reveals to Rey and Ren that technically he holds the power of Darth Vader as well, that he is a part of Darth Vader, or that Vader is a part of him, I should say. Very interesting touch by the new villain, a very big secret between both Vader and Palpatine, provided by the Dark Acolyte before his mind begins to switch to Sidious. In case you guys did not know, this new villain is said to have multiple personalities, 2 of which, to be, specific, one of which is just his normal state, and the other of which is when Palpatine takes over his consciousness. So the new villain has a lot of potential, he holds a lot of potential in this movie to really make it a villain that can really match up against Count Dooku, or Darth Vader, or Palpatine, or even Darth Maul. This Acolyte really does have the chance to really become a fan favorite in the series, as long as Matt Smith, if he is indeed involved, which we have heard multiple times he is, that Matt Smith is indeed going to pull this off very well under, how J.J. Abrams ordered him how to act in the scene and stuff around those lines. Now, the other thing about this is that Darth Vader's Sith Wraith, we've been going over this a couple of times. We do know that it was actually the Dark Acolytes who initiated the Sith Wraith of Darth Vader to even enter into the mortal world. And once that actually appeared in there, it was able to combine with Palpatine's Sith spirit. Now, on top of all this, we do know that the Dark Acolyte, alright, he was able to introduce Palpatine into the mortal world permanently, because before that, Palpatine's Sith spirit could only go in and out of the Sith realm, or the spiritual realm, I should say, temporarily. He could not stay in the mortal world for long, unless he was in a proper host body, of course. Now, on top of all of this, we do know that this film is going to have a lot of darker elements than that of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And that is one of the big plans by J.J. Abrams, and I'm quite sure that, as long as it's utilized in a great way and executed on screen perfectly, that it's really going to resonate with fans around the world, and that they're going to look at the third act of Episode 9 as being a little bit darker, if not just as dark, as Revenge of the Sith. And I like the parallels here. We have 3 individuals, on a environment that looks somewhat like a launch pad, except this scenario, it's wreckage. where both Rey and Ren are circling around the Dark Acolyte, where in Revenge of the Sith, we had, of course, Anakin and Padme and Obi-Wan Kenobi in a confrontation to a certain extent, right? So you can see the parallels that JJ is drawing from and what he wants to introduce in The Rise of Skywalker to do something very unique and original for the fans, and of course, not just for the fans, but for new fans entering into the Star Wars franchise, and how they're going to look back at the originals and, of course, the prequels. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.